Good morning, students. So we come to the Friday's class. Hope you understood the prose lesson what we started in the previous class. I think we have finished almost half the lesson. Now let's continue with the next part of the lesson. The interviewer finished asking almost. How many questions? How many questions we finished? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are going to the fifth question on page number 63. Okay, the fourth question the interviewer is asking. Page number 63, the first paragraph. What were your aims and how did you work to achieve them? So she's asking about the aims of these women. What were the aims in life and what work you did? How did you manage to achieve or reach your goal or reach your aims? For that again Vartika Joshi is giving the answer to this question. Vartika Joshi is saying, I wanted to make sure that I complete this journey with ultimate honesty. I didn't set out for a destination. It was a journey that mattered to me the most. So my contention was to make sure that we go by the rules of circumnavigation, which says that you don't have to use any auxiliary means of repulsion and you don't have to take anybody else's assistance. I grasped that completely. So what answer she's giving? My aim was to make this journey with ultimate honesty. I wanted to abide by all the rules that is put forth by the government to what all rules to be needed to circumnavigate such a navigation. So she said, I didn't set out for a destination. My aim was not to just go out for a trip or like that. My aim was to go by the rules. It was a journey that mattered to me the most. It was very important. When this project was announced, I wanted to be a part of this navigation, and I wanted to be satisfied. Contention is what? I wanted to be satisfied by following all the rules kept in front of me. So my contention is what? My satisfaction was to make sure that we go by the rules of circumnavigation, which says that you don't have to use any auxiliary means. What's the meaning of auxiliary here? You need not use any auxiliary means to do this expedition. An additional use as a reserve or substitute in case of need. I didn't want to be a substitute. I wanted to be the main person. Just take for example the cricket team. Who will be given more importance? The main players or the substitute? Main players. Only the main players' names will be announced, isn't it? Only the main players hurt or injured, the second person, the substitute will be added. So I don't want to be a substitute. I want to be the main person in the picture, she said. And that was my main aim. So I didn't want to be like an auxiliary means just a substitute in this team. But I wanted to be the main person. Means of repulsion, and you don't have to take anybody else's assistance. I took that opportunity immediately. I grasped means what? When this chance came, I just took hold of this chance. I grasped that completely. I grasped means I immediately took this opportunity to be a part of this navigation, the main person in this navigation. Next question. Interviewer. Name that one quality of yours that enabled you to complete this expedition successfully. So tell me at least one quality that played the main role for you to complete this expedition successfully. For that she's giving an answer. Name that one quality of yours that enabled you to complete this expedition successfully. For that she's answering, whenever the winds dropped, it wouldn't have taken me even a fraction of a second to switch on the engine and say let's go 1 mile ahead. But inside of me, something poked me and said that you have to be honest with yourself, and this expedition has to be done with honesty. I am glad that we were able to finish it successfully without the use of the engine at all. So what she's saying, honesty. The main quality that helped me to finish this expedition successfully was I was honest throughout the journey. Even suppose a mission went off for a second, even for a second, I never let the mission to stop. We let it go. Immediately we let it go. It happened to move. It had to move. Even the mission doesn't work, the ship had to move with some other means. So with this, we never put a stop, she's saying. We successfully tried to move on with this expedition. That is all because of my honesty, she's saying. But inside of me, something poked me and said that you have to be honest with yourself, and this expedition has to be done with honesty. I am glad that we were able to finish it successfully without the use of the engine at all. Next question, interviewer. As the head of the crew, how did you involve the team? So you were the head. For all this full crew members, you were the head. How did you manage? How did you involve yourself? What's the main part you played to be the leader of this team? For that she is answering. We've all sailed and trained and the same amount, and everybody has their own way of dealing with situations. But that was a good thing, because we could discuss different ways of solving a problem and choose the best one. In fact, I'd say it was easier for us to collaborate and work together. So even though I was a leader, all of us did the same amount of training, we did the same amount of dealing with the situations, we did the same amount of practice, but I was given the main role. But just because I was given the main role doesn't mean I was everything. Whatever we did it in collaboration. We discussed together as a team. As a team, with anything, if any situation came along, I never took any decision all on my own. But I discussed with my other team members, and then we came to a proper decision. So it was not just one hand. All the 6 of us joined together in collaboration when any trouble or any problem occurred. So what she's saying, we've sailed and trained the same amount of sailing we did, the same amount of training we got, and everybody had their own way of dealing with any situation. But that was a good thing, because we could discuss everything. Anything happened, if any situation occurred, we discussed together. We could discuss different ways of solving a problem and choose the best one. In fact, I say it was easier for us to collaborate and work together. The teamwork was very, very important. Collaboration with each other was very important. For this, again, the answer is continued by another team member, that is Payal Gupta. Payal Gupta is saying, when you are out at sea, teamwork is the most important in the middle of the crisis. So, when you are alone out in the sea, teamwork is important, not only one particular individual. The whole team is hand in hand together. When you are out at sea, teamwork is the most important in the middle of the crisis. Even during the storm, when 3 people would be out on watch, the other 3 who would be inside wouldn't be able to rest. Somebody would heat the water, the other person would heat the gloves, because it was raining also. So team effort actually helped in navigating through the 20 hours long storm. I feel that if I had been alone, then it would have been a nightmare to deal with the challenges that the sea throws at you. So what she's saying, Payal Gupta is saying, if I was alone at sea and if a storm had occurred, I wouldn't have been able to manage, because we were a team of 6. Even if 3 people were inside the ship taking rest and 3 were out on the deck, on the dock, managing the storm, the other 3 who were inside were not completely taking rest, but they were doing something which can help the situation, the storm situation. They were heating the gloves, they were doing heating the water to keep themselves warm, because it was stormy weather. Stormy weather, you have to bear the severe cold and all. So when 3 were on duty doing something, the other 3 were preparing for the others to survive the cold wind or the chillness or whatever it is, the climate, the weather and all that. So what he's saying here, even during the storm, when 3 people would be out on watch, the other 3 who would be inside wouldn't be able to rest. They're supposed to rest, but they're not able to rest because they have to do something. They have to help each other. Somebody would heat the water, the other person would heat the gloves because it was raining also. So team effort actually helped in navigating through the 20 hours long storm. So the storm which started, it lasted for almost 20 hours. 20 hours, the storm was just heavy. The wind was blowing, the storm was just, the ship was tossing in the stormy weather. And they have to help each other in this stormy weather to navigate the ship. If I feel that if I had been alone, then it would have been a nightmare. Nightmare means I would have really not been able to manage to deal with the challenges that the sea throws at you. The next question, I think this is probably the second last one. Now some more questions are there. The next question the interviewer is asking: share your experience about the most challenging task while sailing. Vartika Joshi is answering. So what question is asked? Share your experience about the most challenging task while sailing. Vartika Joshi is giving an answer. The sea can get really tough when winds are picking up. Those are the times we have to be active and need to anticipate what could be there ahead. In the South Pacific, we encountered a storm where the seas were almost 9 to 10 meters high and the winds are picking up to 60 to 70 knots, a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical mile per hour, exactly 1.852 kilometers per hour, which is about a hurricane force of wind on land. It is normal on sea, where there is hardly any land mass to stop the wind. So what she's saying here, the storm was so severe. When they reached the Pacific Ocean, a storm occurred, and that storm was so severe, and they have to anticipate anything. Anything can happen. The boat will capsize, or they'll have to face something very dangerous. Anything they can anticipate means that anything can happen to them. But they were all prepared. They were all prepared to deal with the situation. We encountered a storm. Encountered means we had to face a storm which is so very severe. The boat was just taken 9 meters, 10 meters high. It just threw on the 9 meters, 10 meters high and fell on the sea. And the wind speed was so heavy. The wind speed was just equal to a hurricane. The wind that blew so with full rage the wind was blowing. It was almost 1,852 kilometers per hour, which is about a hurricane force of wind on land. So it is normal on sea where there is hardly any land mass to stop the wind. So it was only sea. There is no land mass to stop the sea. It was all such difficult situation this crew members had to face. It was also a blissful experience when something broke down, and after a lot of hard work and effort, we were able to fix it together. We will remember these incidents as well because it gave us the strength to move on, and if something went bad, we were able to overcome those challenges. So the first paragraph is she's talking about the stormy weather that they came across, that they encountered in the Pacific Ocean. Next paragraph, she's explaining about a blissful experience. Blissful means some happy experience also. Apart from these bad experiences, we also had some good experiences which can be remembered. And what are those good experiences? Sometimes something will break off, and that something breaking off, they never used to just leave it off. They all used to join together and repair it, mend it up, fix it up, so that whatever broke is redone again. So it was a blissful experience when something broke down, and after a lot of hard work and effort, we were able to fix it together. We will remember these incidents as well as because it gave us the strength to move on, and if something went bad, we were able to overcome those challenges. Something went bad, they all worked together and they tried to overcome the bad situations. Next question. Interviewer: how adventurous was your trip? So she was asking next one, how adventurous was it? How was it so exciting? Was your trip very exciting? So adventurous. Adventurous means very exciting. Vartika Joshi is answering. When we were crossing the Tasman Sea, we witnessed a brilliant southern lights from sea. It was rare to watch that in those months, that too from sea. We were absolutely awestruck as we were not expecting it. Awestruck means we were shocked to see the beautiful lights that was burning in the port. The southern lights from they could see. We are absolutely awestruck as we were not expecting it to see the entire sky lit up in green light. There was bioluminescence, dolphins swimming in the wake of the boat like our neighbors, and a variety of sea creatures. We spotted a dead sperm whale once and we thought it was an island from a distance. It was so huge. We are not specialists. So whenever we spotted something in the sea, we had to Google it to learn more about the species. So what was adventurous? Suddenly they came across a huge whale. Whale was so huge and they thought that was an island because they had no experience what are the different water creatures. So sometimes they came across dolphins swimming in the wake of the boat like our neighbors, and a variety of sea creatures. And we also spotted dead sperm whale, huge whale, and we thought it was an island. They thought it was an island, and we were no specialists that we couldn't make out what is what. So immediately they have to open the Google and see what was that, and they studied more about that water creatures. So these are the different various adventures they had to come across on the Tasman Sea. Next question: how did your crew spend time deep in the sea? So how they spend their time deep in the sea. Deep means right inside, away from all the other land. They were just right in the middle of the sea, and what are the different experiences they underwent in the sea. Apart from other adventures, apart from other things, storms and all that, what are the different experiences they had? She's asking the next question. For this, Swati is answering. During circumnavigation, we picked up some hobbies and kept posting pictures of delicacies like Golgappas. Golgappas means Pani Puri. You'll eat no Pani Puri. Outside the school you'll eat, isn't it? Pani Puris. That is called as Golgappas in Hindi. So they used to post pictures of delicacies like Golgappas and cakes. We also read books with when the weather was pleasant and did some quilling and craft work. While team leader Joshi read comics and the Ramayana during a journey, I love cooking as well, so I indulge in baking. I also like crafting a lot, so I used to make lampshades. I love it when people appreciate the food that I cook. So I gave my crew members the best dishes that was possible on land when the limited resource that we had on the boat. So Swati is saying how they spend their time, how they used to pass their time in the middle of the sea. So what she said, we used to send pictures of Golgappas means the Pani Puris and cakes, and some of them, one or two, used to sit and read books. Our leader, that is team leader Joshi, Vartika Joshi, she used to read comics and Ramayana books, and whereas Swati was very much interested in cooking, she used to do varieties of cookies and cookings, and she used to feed these people with different lovely dishes. As she loved cooking, she indulged in baking. Indulge means she started baking some cookies and cakes and all in the ship journey. I like cooking so well, so I indulge in baking. I also like crafting a lot, so I used to make lampshades. Apart from cooking, she used to also do craft work, and she do some lampshades and all. I love it when people appreciate the food that I cook, so I gave my crew members the best food that was possible on land with the limited whatever resources, whatever was there in the ship, with that she used to cook and give them. Next, the answer is continued by Vartika Joshi. 6 is a great number. We were always entertained. We watched movies, listened to music, and you won't believe some of the goodies. Goodies means the nice cookies or goodie, whatever good things happen. Some of the goodies the crew rustled up in our tiny pantry. Even while sailing in rough seas, we made parathas, baked cakes and breads, and even made halwa and rasgullas. So apart from all the other baking items, we also made some other goodies. Goodies means other good item, food items. That is parathas we made. We baked some cakes, breads, and even made some halwas and rasgullas to eat. We celebrated festivals at sea. When we think about it now on land, we remember the Diwali we spent at sea. We celebrated 3 birthdays, including the first birthday of the boat. Also specific occasions like crossing the equator, the international dateline, and such. So all the different experiences these 60 people had on sea. So apart from making all the various recipes, various goodies, they also celebrated festivals. They also celebrated 3 birthdays. This festival celebrated festivals like Deepavali at sea, and even 3 birthdays, including the first birthday of the boat, and also specific occasions like crossing the equator, the international dateline, and such. Next question: what motivated you to fulfill the country's expectations? For that, Swati is answering. We knew that the entire country was watching us and praying for us. So we never wanted them to have a single day thinking that we were in trouble. See, we watch Swati saying the whole world is watching us on the screen. The whole world is watching us, and the whole world was praying for us. Our country people were praying for us that we won't face any trouble. So we wanted to make everything a success. So they were praying and watching us. So we now wanted them to have a single day thinking that we were in trouble. We knew that it was going to happen. The people out there did not know what kind of challenges we were facing. So one of the motives that we kept in mind was that we did not want to frighten them. We decided that once the circumnavigating was over, we are going to show that we have actually gone through. So actually they didn't want to show that the people on the land were praying for them, that they were in trouble. They didn't want them to get scared. But once they come back, they wanted to tell them everything. And that's what they're giving in this interview. As a woman, how would you consider this expedition? So last question the interviewer is asking, as a woman, how would you consider this expedition? Mother Vartika Joshi is answering. It's a matter of great honor, and we couldn't have imagined anything better for our cast-off. Of course, we being an all-women team is a great boost to women in the country. But as we are going as sailors, and we as sailors have seen that the sea does not discriminate between genders. It is always gender neutral, and we have realized that gender does not play a role in sailing, but to boost the morale in the country and for more women to take in adventures like sailing. I feel it is great. The all women team had been formed to undergo this expedition. So as women, what she's saying, as women, we took this as a challenge. We took this expedition as a challenge, and this expedition is a great boost to women in the country to take up adventures like sailing the world around, sailing the world around. So we should not say that you are a man or you are a woman. Being a woman also, we can do various things. So we took this as a challenge, and everybody must take part. No one should say gender. We should not differentiate ourselves gender based, that you are a man, only man can do. You are a woman, woman cannot do. No. What she is saying here, we should play the role, that everybody should play the role in sailing. Whether a man or a woman, we have to play the role in sailing. But to boost the morale of the country and for more women to take part in such adventures. So this is an advice to all that like us, even you come forward. Don't say that you are a woman, even you come forward and take part in such adventures. And I feel it's great that all women's team had been formed to undergo this expedition. So this is the lesson all about empowered women navigating the world. All of you understood this interview? There are so many questions this interview is asking, and for all these questions, this team member, each one of them are giving a answer to about the adventures, about their expedition they underwent on the sea. So this interview, they are getting a knowledge about their personal experiences, that they went, what hardships and what difficulties, what challenges they went through on the sea. So this is the lesson all about empowered women navigating the world. Is that clear, children? All of you understood? Okay. Now, again you'll read the lesson, take down all the meanings in your notebook, write down all the meanings, then little by little, I'll send you all the exercises also, the glossary part, the vocabulary. Here in this lesson you have to learn about idioms and phrases. Last year we learned idioms and phrases, we learned in the 9th standard. Again there's a repeat here, we'll do idioms and phrases, then other exercises is given in the book, we'll do in the next class, or maybe after we finish the full 3rd unit. So I shall just give you read the poetry, the memorization poetry in another 5 minutes time. I'll just take 5 or 10 minutes and read out the poetry, the second memorization poetry for this year. That is, I Am Every Woman by Rakhi Narayani Shah. All of you turn your books to this poetry. Page number 84. As I'm reading, please pay attention. Please pay attention, children. In this poetry, I Am Every Woman. I Am Every Woman by an Indian writer, Rakhi Narayani Shah. Rakhi Narayani Shah was a teacher who worked in Ryan International School, Kharghar. She has a passion for writing poems as a medium of self-expression. She is a postgraduate with a bachelor's degree in education. At present, she lives in New Mumbai. So in this poetry, she is writing beautifully about a woman, how a woman is naturally beautiful. She is explaining in these lines about a woman's beauty. And every woman is what? I am a woman. Woman is, the beauty of a woman is being described in this poetry by this poet Rakhi Narayani Shah. Every woman is naturally beautiful. She is a symbol of power and strength. As she is writing this poetry, she is saying a woman is a symbol of power and strength. She is very optimistic in approach, even at times of adversity. At times of trouble also, a woman is very powerful. She is very optimistic. And she finds a ray of hope. Even in difficult periods, she knows that at the end of the day, there is a ray of hope. There is something good comes out of every difficult situation. She continues to care for her loved ones. Even in difficult times, she doesn't give up. She takes care of her loved ones, and she's got no fear. The poet is explaining in such a way that a woman has got no fear. Very boldly, she faces any difficult situation. She's got strong faith. Women in general, she's saying every woman has got a strong faith and strong belief. Whatever she does will happen for good, she believes. So she never quits, she never gives up. Any difficult times come, she doesn't give up. She doesn't give up something. Even after working hard, hard work will definitely bear a good fruit, she believes. So this woman never quits. And in some lines of the poetry, the poet is explaining this woman as a lioness, very strong. He is comparing this woman to a lioness. She is a lioness, the poet says. She sometimes, even if somebody plays mischief with her, she doesn't tolerate it. Some men play mischief with women, isn't it? They try to rag her, they try to underestimate her. But when a woman is daring, a woman is strong, a woman is brave, what she does, she shows her bravery by attacking this man. That shows she will never tolerate anybody teasing her or making fun of her. So she is today's woman. Today's woman is a very brave woman. So here the poet is comparing women to a lioness. So such a woman we should learn to respect. We should respect, love, and always keep this woman dignified. The poet concludes by saying, today's woman is brave, today's woman is strong, today's woman is bold, today's woman is powerful. So such a woman we should learn to respect. We should keep her in a dignified place and should love her and respect her. So we'll see what the poet has got to say in this poetic lines. I'll read the poetry to you first, then I shall explain to you line by line. Maybe in the next class I'll explain to you. This class I'll just read out the poem. All your eyes in the book. I'll read out the poetry, so memorize it. The next class I shall explain to you line by line. I Am Every Woman by Rakhi Narayani Shirk. A woman is beauty innate, a symbol of power and faith, a symbol of power and strength. She puts her life at stake. She is real, she is not fake. The summer of life she is ready to see in spring. She says, spring will come again, my dear. Let me care for the ones who are near. She is a woman, she has no fear. Strong is she in her faith and beliefs. Persistence is the key to everything, says she. Despite the signs and groans and moans, she is strong in her faith, firm in her belief. She is a lioness, don't mess with her. She'll not spare you if you are a prankster. Don't ever try to sow her pride, her self-respect. She knows how to thaw you, so beware. She is today's woman dear. Love her, respect her, keep her near. Understood? I'll read it to you once again. Pay attention. A woman is beauty innate, a symbol of power and strength. She puts her life at stake. She is real, she is not fake. The summer of life she is ready to see in spring. She says, spring will come again, my dear. Let me care for the ones who are near. She is a woman, she has no fear. Strong is she in her faith and beliefs. Persistence the key to everything, says she. Despite the signs and groans and moans, she is strong in her faith, firm in her belief. She is a lioness, don't mess with her. She'll not spare you if you are a prankster. Don't ever try to sow her pride, her self-respect. She knows how to thaw you, so beware. She is today's woman dear. Love her, respect her, keep her near. That's the poetry. Memorize it. At least try to memorize 2 verses by next Wednesday. Next Wednesday I will explain to you line by line and stanza by stanza. Then we shall go deeper into the poetic lines. That is, we'll do even the figures of speech and other appreciation questions as we finish with the explanation of the poetry. Okay, children? So for now, we shall wind up. Please read the poetry, memorize it. Right, the words are quite simple and easy. Read it and practice it and memorize it. After memorizing, give it up. Give it up to your parents, your mother, your brothers, whoever is it. Learn to give up and practice writing without C. See you, children. See you in the next class. That is in the Zoom class for 5 or 10 minutes. We'll wind up. Okay, children. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.